point, moment after moment, you are Canadian heroes. Right? Think about the 2 years we've been together. Think about how we talked about sticking to the plan, sticking to who we want to be, playing aggressive, accessing equality. You guys showing your character. You guys are Canadian heroes. Canadian heroes. Canadian heroes for the future children of this country who play this sport. The sport has a big future because of you guys. You should be so proud of who you are. You should be so proud of this game. You never crossed the heat. You went after it, played after point, moment after moment. You are Canadian heroes.
Canada did not just win a soccer game in Los Angeles. Canada found the kind of World Cup moment a country keeps forever. Not the clean kind, not the easy kind. Not the comfortable win fans can watch with a calm heartbeat and a cold drink in hand. This was stress, silence, wasted chances, blocked lanes, tired legs, and one ball dropping at the edge of the box when the whole night looked ready to slip away. Then Steven Eustaquio hit it. One strike, one roar, one country pulled from frustration into history. Canada beat South Africa 1-0 and reached the last 16 of the World Cup for the first time. That alone would have made the night big. A co-host surviving a tense knockout match on American soil. A team still trying to prove it belongs among the sport's heavyweights. A program that once came to World Cups just hoping to compete, now winning elimination games in front of the world. But the goal carried more weight than the scoreboard. After the match, Jesse Marsch said, Eustaquio's late parents were looking down on him. That line turned a dramatic winner into something deeper. Not just Canada advancing. Not just a midfielder stepping up. A son carrying grief few fans can see, delivering the biggest shot of his life at the exact moment his country needed him. Ticket complaints, empty seat arguments, travel headaches, coaches furious at officials, players suspended over rules nobody fully trusts. Every day seems to bring another fight around the tournament. Then one shot in stoppage time reminded everyone why people still watch. Because under all the politics, money, cameras, and chaos, soccer can still give you a moment so human that it stops the argument for a second. Eustaquio had no room for poetry when the ball came to him. South Africa had spent the night making Canada work for every inch. They defended with discipline. They slowed the rhythm. They dragged the match into the kind of ugly, nervous place where favorites begin to overthink. Canada pushed, but nothing opened cleanly. Their best looks came and vanished. Penalty appeals died. Crosses found bodies instead of teammates. The clock kept moving. Every minute made South Africa stronger. That is what happens in a knockout match. The underdog does not need to dominate. It needs to survive long enough for doubt to enter the other side's legs. Canada knew it. The fans knew it. Marsch knew it. You could feel the pressure moving from the field into the stands. Canada had the better story on paper. More star power. More expectation. The home continent stage. The belief that this generation had raised the ceiling. But paper means nothing in the 91st minute when the ball refuses to go in. Then came the clearance. Not a perfect setup, not a beautiful passing move carved from training ground rhythm, just a loose ball near the top of the box, the kind that punishes hesitation. Eustaquio did not hesitate. He shaped his body, stayed calm, and drove the shot through the moment. That calm mattered. Marsch talked about it afterward. He spoke about Eustaquio as one of the most reliable players in the team, one of the men who understands what Canada wants to become. Coaches love players like that because they do not live only in highlights. They live in details, positioning, tempo, recovery runs. Small choices that keep a team together when the match starts shaking. Then, once in a while, that player gets the highlight too. For Eustaquio, the goal landed on a part of his life soccer cannot heal but can honor. He lost his mother in April 2023. He lost his father in May 2024. 2 losses in 2 years. 2 empty seats in every major moment. 2 people who should have been there to see the biggest goal Canada has ever needed from him. That kind of grief does not leave because a tournament starts. It travels with you. It sits in the hotel room. It follows the bus. It waits in the quiet after training. It comes back during the anthem. It comes back when cameras point at your face and the world expects performance. Fans often talk about athletes as if pressure begins at kickoff. It does not. Some players carry pressure before they ever touch the ball. Family, loss, expectation, memory. The need to be strong when nobody sees the cost. Eustaquio carried all of that into Los Angeles and still had the composure to strike when Canada's World Cup hung in the air. That is not just clutch. That is rare. American sports culture understands this kind of story. The late shot after personal loss. The walk-off hit after a family tragedy. The quarterback playing through grief. The athlete pointing upward after the biggest moment of his career. Fans can argue about tactics all day, but they recognize that look. They know when a game has crossed into something personal. Eustaquio's goal had that feel. Marsh, a Wisconsin-born coach leading Canada on a World Cup run, also gives the story an American edge. He knows how North American sports moments are built, not only through trophies but through identity. Who are we now? What does this win say about us? Can a team change how a country sees a sport? Canada has been asking that question for years. For a long time, Canadian soccer lived behind hockey's shadow. Hockey owned the national mythology. Ice, winter, toughness, playoff beards, overtime goals, kids skating before sunrise. Soccer had its pockets of passion, its immigrant communities, its youth fields, its loyal supporters, but it did not own the country's main sports imagination. This generation has started to change that. Alphonso Davies helped open the door. Jonathan David gave Canada another global name. A new wave of players made qualification feel less like a miracle and more like a standard. Hosting the World Cup added pressure. Fans did not want Canada to simply appear. They wanted proof the country had arrived. A late knockout winner does more than prove it. It brands the memory. Kids in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary, and every small field in between will see that clip. Not as an abstract soccer highlight from Europe or South America. As Canada, their shirt, their flag, their player, their moment. That matters more than any federation slogan. Marsh understood the effect right away. The timing of the goal made the win dramatic, but the meaning goes beyond drama. A goal in regulation would have counted the same. A comfortable 2-0 win would have been easier. It would not have hit the same nerve. Late goals create mythology because they make people suffer first. Canada suffered. South Africa made sure of it. Hugo Bruce had his team organized, stubborn, and fearless enough to drag a co-host into deep water. They did not come to Los Angeles as a decoration. They came to ruin the party. For most of the night, they nearly did. That deserves respect. South Africa's World Cup run ended in pain, but not embarrassment. They defended with belief. They pushed Canada into discomfort. They forced a game full of tension instead of spectacle. Sometimes the losing team helps create the winning team's legend by refusing to break until the final seconds. That is exactly what happened. Canada now moves on to face either Morocco or the Netherlands in Houston. That next opponent will bring a different kind of challenge. More quality, more speed, more tactical danger, more global attention. Nobody should pretend Canada suddenly became a favorite to win the whole thing because of one late goal. But something changed anyway. A team that wins a match like this starts believing in a different way, not loud belief. Not press conference belief. The private kind. The kind players feel when they look around the locker room and know they survived a night that could have crushed them. Knockout soccer rewards that kind of scar tissue. Canada now has it. They also have a story no scouting report can measure. Eustaquio's strike will be replayed as a tactical moment, but it will be remembered as an emotional one. The ball falling, the shot rising, the net moving, the celebration breaking loose, Marsh talking about his parents looking down, a country realizing its soccer history had just changed in real time. That is how World Cups build permanent memories, not always through the best team, not always through the prettiest match. Sometimes through a player who has lost more than most people know, standing over the biggest ball of his life, carrying everything and refusing to blink. Canada needed a hero. Stephen Eustaquio gave them one.